Just.
And Eva Court is going to be down here too, please.
Oh, is she?
Professor Court, yes,
Good.
my mouthpiece.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right, she's my
And Chingley is going to watch for questions from the virtual participants. Maybe I should begin this session just by a special word of welcome to the virtual participants whom we cannot see, right? But we know you're out there, and so we want to let you know that you are in fact welcomed. There are 24 of you currently, and Chingley is going to watch for your questions so that with luck we can have those questions, have your questions posed, as well as questions from those people who are in-person participants. What the chair of the scientific committee, Frick Pelt-Steele, calls live participants. But I know that you virtual participants, you're also live, right? Okay. Now, so just the order of our presentations here is going to be different from what's in the program. Our first presentation will be by Kim Lewis, the mother of Joel Inbody, who has edited his book on mobbing for publication, and it's now available. And then the second presentation will be a combination from Professor Herb Richardson and Dr. Eva Court, case studies from Mellen Press. Herb Richardson mentioned to me in a conversation on Friday night, when we were just talking about how things were going to proceed today. And I was saying, we have these greetings from Mesco and Pena and Pace from abroad. And he said, you also ought to mention that we have greetings and encouragement from people who have indeed lost their lives as a result of being mobbed at work. And Joel Inbody is one of those, I think. Chingley Meng mentioned the examples that have been cited over and over again. The neuropsychologist Justine Sergent and her husband Yves Sergent, who's also a psychologist, who together committed suicide in 1994, directly as a result of Justine being mobbed at work, and left suicide notes to that effect. Other people have died as a result of being mobbed or had their lives cut short. You can't exactly say, there's a direct relation, but it's pretty probable that they died sooner as a result of being mobbed than they would otherwise have been. And one person we should mention in that connection is Hector Hammerly, who's a linguistics professor at Simon Fraser University, left in his will money in support of mobbing research. And he also left, and we discovered it in his papers afterwards, after his death, an essay that was ready for publication. The title of his essay was Mob to Kill by Pack. That was his definition of the term. And then he himself had a kind of cardiac event and died from it. But the examples multiply. I live in Niagara Falls, Ontario, which is near Brock University, major Ontario University in St. Catharines. And just in the past few years, 2 professors from there have died prematurely, mid-60s, forced into retirement, and then kicked up their heels and died, one from some kind of stroke and the other from cancer. Thomas Hoodlicki was a chemistry professor who said that he thought hiring in chemistry, put this in a chemistry blog, that hiring should be done on the basis of merit rather than sex or race or ethnicity or whatever. And the whole university came down heavily on him as being sexist and racist and so on. He was forced to retire, and then he was on a trip to Europe and died suddenly. The other person was David Schimmelpenninck, who was a history professor there, who was accused of sexual harassment. Remarkable thing about Schimmelpenninck is there was a change.org petition started against him, to have him fired. It was signed by more than 10,000 people around the world, none of whom knew a damn thing about what had happened, except that Schimmelpenninck was supposed to be a sexual harasser, and by God, they wanted him gone. And that occasioned for me something of a study of people who signed change.org petitions. Turns out there's gobs of people around the world who get up in the morning and look through the latest petitions on change.org and decide which ones to sign, Say, I like this one, don't like this one, whether they're true or not. I mean, what the hell? So we are, I suppose, being watched by those people who have lost their lives as a result of being mobbed or had their lives truncated. And for that reason, we want to aim on creating workplaces where people can flourish or épanouir. So one of the people who lost his life was Joel Inbody. You can read on my website my preface to his book, which tells the story of my relationship with him. Joel Inbody had lots of bad luck. One piece of very good luck he had was to have Kim Lewis as his mother, who has been intent on respecting Joel's memory and on bringing out the truth about who her son was and how he died. And so let me turn things over now to